What do Nightmare Before Christmas, Bing Crosby, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas all have in common? Aside from being holiday classics, they're all guilty of hiding something. These are 3 cases of lost Christmas audio that we'll never hear. Nightmare Before Christmas is an iconic holiday film that tells the story of Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, and his efforts to cure his seasonal depression by stealing Christmas, as you do. The ghouls and goblins of Halloween put their spooky spin on Christmas and ruin it for the entire world. So it's up to Sandy Claus to use his holiday magic and set everything right. But did you know that we almost had a different Santa in the film?
I'm Santa Claus.
Santa was voiced by Ed Ivory, whose gritty baritone captures the essence of a jolly elf whose holiday has been stolen. But Ed wasn't the first choice for the role of Santa. Tim Burton, the film's producer, wanted horror icon Vincent Price to don Santa's red suit. And Price would even go into the studio to record the voiceover for Santa. However, things weren't all carols and candy canes. Price's wife, Coral Brown, had recently passed away from breast cancer, and his performance was, well, as the film's director Henry Selick put it, we recorded him, but Price had just lost his wife, and he was despondent. It just didn't work. Several other actors auditioned for the role of Santa, including James Earl Jones. Still, eventually the production settled on Ed Ivory, and his annoyed but jovial Santa Claus is the one we all know and love.
Bumpy sleigh ride, Jack.
Still, as Tim Selick confirmed, Vincent Price did record the dialogue for Santa, and to this day, only a select few have heard the haunting recordings. It's unclear whether these recordings still exist, but given how deep Disney's vault is, they may be hiding in some darkened corner, gathering dust. And while we may never get to hear Price's take on the festive Claus, here's something that did manage to sneak its way out of the vault. At least partially. We all know the song White Christmas. Sung by the prolific Bing Crosby, it's one of the most iconic Christmas songs ever written. The song is so popular that it's considered to be the best-selling single of all time, with an estimated 50 million copies sold. But did you know that the first recording of the song was almost completely lost?
We like to take care of our friends.
We're practically strangers.
Well, we'd like to take care of that too.
The song was officially released on July 30th, 1942 as part of the Holiday Inn soundtrack. As legend has it, when writer Irving Berlin showed the song to Bing Crosby, Crosby liked it so much that he went into the studio and recorded it in just 18 minutes. Considering how massively successful the song would become, it was initially eclipsed by another song from the film, Be Careful, It's My Heart. However, by the end of 1942, White Christmas had topped the charts. It was well on its way into the cultural zeitgeist. White Christmas would be re-recorded and released in the 1954 film of the same name, which is the version that most of us are familiar with. The film would top the charts as the highest-grossing film of that year, thus solidifying White Christmas in pop culture forever. Despite this, most people are unaware that a version of the song that predates both White Christmas and Holiday Inn was performed and was almost lost forever.
Maybe you got him, Bob. Me? You crazy? I saw you put him in your pocket.
Irving Berlin wrote White Christmas in 1940 and showed it to Bing Crosby shortly afterwards. 1 year later, in 1941, Crosby performed the song live on the NBC radio show, The Kraft Music Hall, for their holiday celebration. While this performance was recorded for posterity, the song was not deemed noteworthy enough to release to the public. So instead, it went into a vault and disappeared from the public forever. That is until 2011, when the Crosby estate revealed that the recording had made it into their collection. They graciously loaned the recording to CBS for their holiday special, and for the first time in 70 years, the world heard the first recording of White Christmas. The recording is heavily damaged, but it gives us a peek at the raw beginnings of the world's most popular Christmas song. And while White Christmas did eventually find its way out of the vault, the world may never hear this next song. In 2000, a live-action adaptation of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas was released to theaters and became an instant classic. Accompanying the film was a single called Where Are You Christmas that was sung by Faith Hill and has become a staple in most Christmas playlists. But did you know that the song's original version is buried deep in a maze of revenge and broken hearts?
That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what it's always been about.
The film featured Jim Carey as the titular Grinch and introduced Taylor Momsen as the film's protagonist, Cindy Lou Who. Momsen would become a successful singer in her own right. Still, her introduction to the entertainment industry was a heartwarming performance of the song Christmas, Why Can't I Find You, which would undoubtedly make any Grinch's heart grow 3 times the size. Written by James Horner and Will Jennings, the song was selected as the lead single for the film. However, the two didn't believe that the film version would suffice as a radio pop hit. It needed to be reworked and they needed help. Enter Mariah Carey.
Get my cloak.
Mariah had seen incredible success with her 1994 Christmas song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and worked with Horner and Jennings to recraft the song into a hit. Using some of the lyrics and melody from the film version, they created the song, Where Are You Christmas? Once complete, Mariah would record a demo version of the song. After that, the intention was to have Mariah perform the song officially, considering her reputation for having sung one of the most popular Christmas songs since White Christmas. However, the chimney would come tumbling down. Mariah had recently divorced her husband, Tommy Mottola, who happened to be the CEO of her record label, Sony Music. Angry and desperate to get revenge, Tommy would use his power as CEO to systematically destroy Mariah's career.
The Grinch!
The music for How the Grinch Stole Christmas was to be released under Universal Music Group, which was in direct competition with Sony. Therefore, for Mariah's version of the song to be released, she needed to get consent from Sony. Seeing an opportunity to get one over on Mariah, Tommy refused permission, forcing her to scrap her version of the song. Still, the music was fair game, and Universal would bring in the singer Faith Hill to record the vocals. Hill's performance would become the song's definitive version and peak at number 65 on the Billboard charts in 2000. But what would become of Mariah's version? Rumors of its existence would float around for nearly 20 years, and then in 2020, a breakthrough. During an interview with Andy Cohen, Mariah confirmed that she had recorded the song and still had the recording in her vault. As of that interview, Mariah has no intention of releasing the song to the public, so we can only picture what her version might sound like. However, for the time being, it remains lost media.